So why do you still want Commissioner Irene Masit to be followed for the events of 15 August when the Supreme Court already had it and determined it?
Well, as I said, the Supreme Court had 9 issues for determination. 9. And all those issues were dealt with. There was no issue as to the governance structures of the IEBC. If there was, then we could have filed a relevant affidavit to that effect. But having said so, I think the recommendations of the Supreme Court is what informs part of the post-election evaluation, and I believe those issues will be addressed by the incoming commission.
Chairman, have you read of the judgment, paragraphs 2008 to 244 of the judgment of the Supreme Court? They actually made findings on the affidavits.
Yes, I'm saying the issues for determination. As a council, you know, we answer to the issues for determination. And the issue about how the commission is governed was not one of the issues. If it was, we would have filed relevant documentation to give the Supreme Court a chance to make a finding on whether the commission follows those governance structures or not. And I believe those findings could not have been the same if we had that opportunity to put the documentation before the Supreme Court.
My understanding of the judgment is that they actually reached conclusions on the conduct of the commissioners, the 7 commissioners, and made findings in paragraph 243, and the last final findings of the judgment. So again, I'm asking, if the Supreme Court had your affidavit, let's say again, let me agree with you that they did not reach a finding on it, but that your affidavit, in which you set out the disputes, you set out the meetings of 3 a.m. in the morning, or 2 o'clock Serena conference. So if there was anything wrong with those incidences, why didn't the Supreme Court decide on them and the evidence before them?
I think that's for the Supreme Court to say. I don't know what the judges considered or did not consider, but all I know is that all those affidavits were filed around the same time on 26th, 27th, and there was no time for filing further affidavits and rebuttals and so forth because of the limited time we were given. So I believe we put what we could in terms of focusing on the issues that had been set for determination.
No, because when you spoke initially, Chairman, you were so into the word can say emotional about it that there was like breach of the Constitution. There was like an intention to subvert the will of the people. When did you file your affidavit?
To the Supreme Court?
Yes.
I think they were done on the 26th
of August.
Of August.
The incidents you're referring to are 15th of August. You had 2 weeks to do, about 11 days to do the affidavit. So if you are so minded that there was an intentional will to subvert the Constitution or to the will of the people, because you set it out in the affidavit, and it was dealt with by the Supreme Court. So my issue is that why is it being revisited? It has been dealt with by the Supreme Court. Should it be with finality? Do you have an issue against Commissioner Irene? You don't want to sit in the commission?
I'm here on invitation of counsel for the tribunal, and what I can say is that what I said in the affidavit is true to the best of my knowledge on events that happened. As for Commissioner Masit, what I've said is what she said, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes.
Re-examination. Yes, I'll have five issues to re-examine. Mr. Chebukati.
Yes.
At the beginning of cross-examination, you asked whether you had any issues with Commissioner in Masit, and then there's one specific issue you picked but you didn't explain. You said that you had an issue she had filed cases against the commission. Kindly clarify.
Sorry,
When you were being asked whether you had any challenge or a problem with Commissioner Irene Masit,
Yes.
you made a comment and said we had a case, they filed affidavits against the commission. Kindly clarify what you mean and what was the issue here?
About the commissioner filing affidavits?
Yes, against the commission.
In the presidential election petitions 2022, the governments, the Commissioner Masit filed an affidavit where she deponed to the effect that she didn't agree with the election results and they should be nullified, and made various allegations which in my view are not true about the commission.
Did the commission sanction that affidavit?
No.
Those facts?
No, it did not.
You say they were not true?
They were not true.
Right. Second issue, page 230 of volume 4. I am aware you are not a party in this matter, but it has a gazette notice. Was it ever challenged, set before court or anything by Commissioner Irene Masit or anyone?
No issue was raised about this gazette notice until, it's today I'm hearing, and I think when matters went before the Supreme Court. But the commissioner did not raise any issue.
Even in your sittings, did she ever raise any issue about these notices at all?
Absolutely not. No issue was raised about it.
It's the first time you're hearing.
Yes.
Right. Third, there's an issue raised about allocation of duties to different commissioners and staff of the commission.
Yes.
Was the Commissioner Irene Masit allocated? Did she challenge or raise issues before today?
As I mentioned, the only issue was she did not want to work with Commissioner Wanderi. When that was resolved, she continued with her duties as allocated.
Thank you.
Yes.
Second last question. There are so many questions raised on forms, right? Form 34C. And Mr. Kip Correll, counsel for Commissioner Masit, mentioned paragraph 208 to 244 of the judgment, and he mentioned it. 244A, there was a clear finding. He mentioned 244. Did the court make a finding on those issues in 244A? If yes, what?
Yes, 244A, where the court said we are satisfied as a find that notwithstanding the divisions apparent between the chairperson and the 4 commissioners, IEBC carried out the verification, tallying, and the declaration of results in accordance with Article 138, 3C, and 10 of the Constitution. That was the finding.
So that issue settled?
Yes.
Right. The last thing, paragraph 8 of that judgment, you mentioned about the issues before the Supreme Court. Just the first paragraph 8 of that judgment. Remember, when you're being asked whether you have confidence in the Supreme Court,
yes,
or this tribunal, you've mentioned that there were 9 issues. Now, clarify, are those the issues that are set in paragraph 8 of the judgment, and do they relate with the issue before the tribunal, this tribunal?
I go through them?
Just confirm whether they're the ones?
Yes, they are the ones. These are the 9 issues before the Supreme Court, which were canvassed before the Supreme Court.
Right. What about, is the issue before the tribunal part of those? Was it part of the issues that were before?
The issue about?
Before this tribunal?
No, it's not part of these 9 issues.
It is not part of those 9 issues.
Yes, yes.
Many thank you, and thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members. I would leave it at that unless the tribunal members have any question.
Mr. Chebukati, we thank you for finding time to be with us, and wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you. To leave, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members. On behalf of this part, we wish to say we are grateful for the indulgence and the time taken in all our witnesses. We believe we've set out good grounds, and we would wish to close it at that point and push it to Mr. Donald Kipkorir.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, we are also grateful for the opportunity. And once Peter closes this case, us we also are closing our case.
Thank you. Thank you to each one of you. We will, I think on behalf of the
Chair,
member,
probably needed, sorry, I'm cutting you. For good order, would be glad if this is on record that is closing his case and also is not calling any witness. So that is on record for submissions.
Donald Kipkorir is a seasoned lawyer. Once he says he's closing his case, it means he's not calling evidence. Understand you right, Counsel?
That's correct. There is not an explanation. There is not a
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I was saying that on behalf of the members of the tribunal, we wish to thank the respective sides led by Mr. Mungi and Mr. Kipkorir, and also thank the Commissioner for being with us throughout. We must now decide how to move on from here. I'll be expecting that within how much time we file written submissions, starting with you, Mr. Mungi.
Thank you, Chair. And from where I sit, and I must be grateful to my team, Madam Zamzam, Abib and team. We've been burning the midnight oil, and we have our submissions ready. We'd just require a day or maximum two, because maximum 2 days.
Yes.
We'll be able to do our final submissions. We are ready. We'll just need to put the input of today's witness. I initially thought I'll take a day, but let me ask for 2 days. Today is Tuesday. By close of business Thursday, we'll have filed and served.
Okay. Donald?
Yeah, Chairman, just for background, maybe sake. What happened? This is the first hearing in this country since, on issues relating to Article 251 or similar articles before. And what this tribunal is going to determine will basically lay the foundation for similar future hearings. So this, you later set the bar high or low, which depending on how whatever it comes out. And as for that, I need sufficient time to do my submissions. When we had our last meeting, I indicated that I needed 14 days. I will not expand. I will have asked for more time, 21 days, but I'll stick on the 14 days we had agreed in the meeting. But I want 14 days to run from the time I receive Peter's submissions and the Hansard report. As you see, I wasn't making notes because my understanding was that there is a dictaphone and there is an answered report. So I needed the answered report and for the proceedings and then the submissions. Then I'll do my submission within 14 days from receipt of both.
How soon will the Hansard report be ready?
Mr. Chair, we have the Hansard report. We just require the last 2 days. It will probably take another 2 days for
Another?
another 2 days from today.
Yeah, okay.
Chairman, just before you
Yes,
give
yes.
elections, just to, I'm a student of history. The last impeachment in England happened in 19th century, 18th century actually, Warren Hastings. It took 8 years, and it was the last impeachment in England. So as we are within...
When I smile, it appears to be giving you some impression.
no, I'm just telling you that...
You've asked for 14 days.
no,
Wait, you've asked for 14 days. The members have said they'll give you 14 days. So you're reading too much into nothing.
no. I mean,
Yes, yes.
No, I was just telling
So-
history. I was just telling history that the impeachment actually of England took 8 years.
Yes. This history that you've read, we've also read. So it's fine. If you'll be ready within 2 days from today, that means by Thursday, you provide the Hansard copy to Mr. Kipkorir. And Mr. Munge, you are saying that you may not need that. You've been taking notes or something. So that you'll be ready by end of Thursday.
We are talking, my team has been very efficient. We've been working on it, we've been taking notes, we are good.
Every time you say your team has been efficient, you must be saying that...
Chairman, I want to respond to Peter.
Yes.
Because when he talks about being efficient, Peter is part of the tribunal, which is a fact. So maybe he has access to the dictaphone, the answer report in advance, which I don't have access to. I don't have an issue with it, by the way, because it's part of the team. I don't have an issue with him getting access to the answer.
No,
it's not an issue.
Yeah. The resources available to him for purposes of this tribunal will not be available to you. So that when you ask for 14 days, we will give you 14 days. Okay? And so, but it's when does time begin to run? So by Thursday evening, you get your submissions and copy of the Hansard. Now, so the next question would be, would you require oral highlighting, or you will, once you give us your submissions, we will be through with that part of the hearing?
Now, Mr. Chairman, I prefer we do the written and then we highlight maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't know.
I hear him, and my Lord, Mr. Chair and members, I think what was pushing me to 2 days, and my team is just reminding me, was a provision of Rule 21.
Rule?
21.
That?
And Rule 21 says that the report of the tribunal and its recommendations shall be delivered on a date affixed for that purpose, but not later than 7 days after completion of the hearing.
We must read hearing to mean
Submissions is hearing.
submissions and the highlighting of submissions.
Yeah, that's hearing.
So that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Then I stand guided.
Thank you.
And
So that calculate 14 days from Thursday, because then we must convene for purposes of highlighting. So it means that by the time we then come for highlighting, you'll have not only completed your submissions, but you also have served. Okay? But time begins to run from Thursday. Yes.
No, saying so that we don't fall foul of the law, we come for the highlighting maybe some days after we've filed our submissions. So we...
No, I must accommodate you and accommodate him.
Yeah.
I've accommodated you, isn't it? 14 days. So on the 15th day, we come back for highlighting. That's what I'm saying. So those who are calculating, So on 9th February at 10, we'll schedule for highlighting. Mr. Munge will go first, and then you'll go second, and then he'll have the usual second bite at the cherry, isn't it? But then how much time? You proposed 10 minutes, but that's...
15 minutes each. 15, and then rebuttal.
Okay, yeah. 30, then 10 minutes. Fine? Thank you. So once again, thank you very much.
Chair, before you pen off.
Yes.
Before you pen off, I had sought for a copy of the answer at the ruling. I don't know if the chair can pronounce himself on timelines when we are able to get it, so that we can seek redress as urgent as possible.
I will communicate with you. The Hansard should be ready. It's Hansard, isn't it? For his purpose, for the purpose of the application. But the ruling should be ready latest, today is Thursday.
Much obliged.
Latest Thursday.
Much obliged.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.